Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And thank you for joining this segment of the After Parties, Me, the Jury. This morning, we're going to talk about Donna Adelson and her sentencing. Child. Let's get right into it. We're going to play a few of the clips from the sentencing. We're going to start off with the restitution that that they are asking for in this case.
Witnesses or evidence that you wish to present as a part of your presentation today?
I have some documentation regarding cost of prosecution, Judge. Would you like that at this time?
Yes.
The state has put together a summary page and a thumb drive. We are requesting $723,123.68 in restitution. Defense advised that they want a supporting documentation regarding this request, which is contained on this thumb drive. They're just receiving it today. So have not had an opportunity to review it. I think at this time the parties are in agreement to ask Your Honor to order cost of prosecution and reserve regarding the amount, and we'll see if we can reach an agreement regarding the amount.
Very well.
So that's one item that.
Okay, so that right there, let me make sure that my sound is working this morning. Can you guys hear me? They want all their money, Lorenzo. They want all their money. $700,000 some odd dollars that they want in restitution. Baby, I don't know if they gonna be able to pay it or not, but they said they want their money now. It's their money and they want it now. I thought it was going to be interesting for you all to hear how much it cost for them to prosecute this case. And remember that she is the fifth person now prosecuted in this case. The four others before her was the two actual shooters and her son Charlie and his ex-girlfriend Catherine McBanawa. They were all involved, and so all of them have had their trials except Juan Rivera. He was not I'm sorry, Luis Rivera. He was not tried because he actually cooperated with the state. And so he was already incarcerated on some other charges. And what they did was they just tacked on an additional 7 years onto his time. He was already, the 12 years he was already serving. So 19 years in total for him because he was a cooperating witness. He is the one that put all the pieces to the puzzle together. Okay. And so that's what we got going on. I have other video clips because we have testimony or witness statements, if you will, from friends and family of Donna Adelson. This next one is kind of, you can absolutely share it. Please do. This next speaker, he was actually a legislator. He's a doctor, and he has known the Adelsons for quite some time. I want you to listen to the things that he's going to say, and I also want you to hear what the judge is going to have to say to what he had to say, because it's all very interesting. It seemed to me that these people were more speaking about how they felt that this was an injustice that Donna received this sentence, rather than really speaking to her character, because that's what they're supposed to be doing. She's already been convicted. They're really supposed to be coming there to give character statements, in order to convince the judge to give her a lighter sentence, but they did not do that. So here we are. Here we are.
Appreciate the opportunity to come and speak on behalf of Donna Adelson. If I can, let me just brief description of who I am, my background. I've been a friend of the Adelson family since 1979. The first 20 years I knew them, we were actively engaged in many activities. In the last 20 years, I haven't seen them that much until this trial became apparent to me. And my background is I'm a medical doctor practicing obstetrics and gynecology, 45 years here in Florida. I was also a state legislature from 1988 to 96, representing Coral Springs and parts of Broward County. I was a county commissioner in Broward County and mayor of Broward County for 1 year in 2006. Also a professor at the University of Florida Medical School and the University of Miami Medical School in clinical OBGYN. And I'm here to speak today on behalf of Donna Adelson, the person I've known for a great deal of time. Hi Donna, just want to say hi. I'm sorry I can't be there to hug you. And I'm sorry we didn't get to have that dinner after your trial was over. But I'm here to, on your behalf, to let you know that you have friends, and I believe in you. Let me say that, Donna, I never thought we'd be here at this situation when I first met you. It was a total shock to me and to our families. And it's a tragedy for me to have to be here to talk about this. I feel very bad for your family, for the Markel family, for the tragedy everyone's experiencing. To me, I've been following this for 2 years. It appears to be a dissolution of two families. My background is similar in many ways to both families. I grew up with Markel. I'm the son of Holocaust survivors. I actually was born in Germany as a displaced persons camp. Came to the United States at the age of 18 months. So like the boys, Lincoln and Benjamin, I don't have a lot of recollection from the first beginning of my time in the United States, because they don't have the recollection of their father, which is very sad to me. But they do have families, and I had.
Really quickly, I want to tell you guys about this guy's testimony. He is actually speaking from a Zoom link. He is not present in the courtroom, which is why they're really focused on Donna's expressions right now. But and they had a little bit of trouble getting him his Zoom link connected. So eventually they'll get it all figured out and we'll be able to see this speaker. I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Family. We have to learn a great deal from our tragedies how to come back into life.
Most women walk wrong. That's why they don't lose weight.
I'm sorry, we have commercials occasionally.
My distress is not just for Donna and the Adelsons, but for the Markels as well, and especially for 3 generations of each family, which I see in tragic downward swing. And yet, I did meet Lincoln and Benjamin at the bar mitzvah last year, and I got to meet those 2 boys, wonderful boys. Unfortunately, I never got to meet Dan Markel, but I have read many of his articles. Very impressive, very brilliant, very talented man who made some very good points about the law and about compassion in the law, which he felt could be improved. And I agree with that. So part of what I'd like to say today is basically that I do believe that Donna is a victim of natural circumstance, but has been actively exploited by parties involved in this case. I believe she was exploited by her son. Knowing Donna, who was the youngest child in her family, and knowing her mother, and how close she was with her mother, and understanding their love and need for family, it makes no sense to me that she would pursue an activity that will destroy 2 families like it has. However, having known her son and some of his issues, I believe Donna, in her own naive way, trying to be a loving mother, who's subdued by guilt, by silence, by denial, and perhaps even active exploitation, and used for activities she had no part of. So I believe she's innocent on all three counts, even though she was found guilty on all three counts. Part of my understanding is also that the victims here are of both families, and to watch the hate and distress and the vengeance I see, it's a terrible thing to look at. As Holocaust survivors, you'd think we would understand that better, how damaging it is to families. I would have to say, my background, I grew up in the Bronx, went to the public school system. I actually was at Queens College when Donna was there, but I didn't know her. She graduated a year after I did. My wife Sandy graduated from Queens College as well. In Coral Springs, we met up after being there a while, new young families, professionals trying to build a life, having children, building the community, which we did. So to see this situation occur, to me, is devastating in many aspects. As a legislator, I can tell you that we see things in law. Even though I'm a doctor and I was chairman of healthcare, I was a Democrat, majority leader, and I sat on Judiciary Committee for 2 years. I understand the laws. Even wrote some of the sentencing guidelines and participated in passing them at that time. And what I learned over the years is that
Right here, he's getting ready to start telling the court how they should be interpreting the law, that that he was involved in writing some of this sentencing guidelines in the law, and how the judge should be interpreting the law, basically saying he's not interpreting it correctly. So pay attention to this guy. He's funny.
I had the privilege of passing many laws. So I was a leader and was able to work both sides. So many of my laws exist in the books. I get calls from judges periodically asking me about the intent of the law when I wrote it, because they have a case and it's come down to what did you intend to happen from this law. And they would ask my opinion, and they would use that information. So I'd like to look a little bit about the intent of the judicial guidelines for sentencing. I think the life without parole is a very harsh sentence. And that was not the intent, was to punish domestic cases with that, but to hit drug dealers and organized crime and dangers to the public. But I think it's been switched over to be used in conspiracy theories against the average citizen, which should not be the intent of the law, in my opinion. Second of all, I think that it's unfortunate that this case has gone into so many new victims. And we've already, you have 4 victims who have been found guilty of murder. 2 have committed the murder, maybe 1. The other are conspiracy theories. And I would believe that I would suggest that that needs to be reviewed by the legislature. That's my opinion. Now, in this case,
Dr. Graber, before you continue, is this being offered as character? Because he is not an expert on the law.
It's character, Judge.
Very well. You may continue, Doctor.
Yes, that's my opinion from my background. It's not, I'm not giving a professional opinion. I'm giving my personal opinion from experience. What I'm asking the court today is, to me, the court.
What y'all think? Do y'all think that he was giving his professional opinion, or was he just giving an opinion? It sounded like he was giving his professional opinion, since he sat on the board that wrote some of these laws.
The judicial system, the power of the judicial system is in the judge. And it is the judge who is the presenter of a safety net for the public. To show some compassion when the cold written law, with every box checked off, shows no compassion, where does the compassion come from? It should come from the judge, it should come from the jury. And I think that maybe that's something we have to consider. So at this point, what I'm saying is that I believe Donna Adelson is a 5-star mother, did everything she could do for her kids, for her family, for her community. She has no bad intentions. She's not a leader, she's a baby in her family. She's always been the follower. Yes, she makes noise and she complains, but that's not her behavior. This is not her profile. So I understand that nothing can be changed, but I want to put on record that I believe she is innocent of these 3 counts, and we believe her. With that, I would have to say, sometimes bad things happen to good people, and I think this is one of those cases, and it's unfortunate. For the families, I would ask, beg them, think about the 2 boys. Dad is not here, but a piece of him is here, and those 2 boys. And their future, they're both teenagers now, their future depends a lot on what's going on here, and how they're going to be perceived in the future, and how they will interpret the future based on this. So I think it's time for some compassion, some understanding, some forgiving. Perhaps it's time to take a step back and let everyone heal from this process. With that, I say to you, to Donna, Samuel and I love you, we support you and the family, and we hope for you the best. God bless you. And Your Honor, thank you for letting me speak.
Yeah, to me, in my opinion, I am with you guys. He definitely was giving his professional opinion or his take on it. So he's speaking about the mandatory life sentence. So in a capital case in Florida, the judge has no discretion. Okay, if you are found guilty, it is a mandatory life sentence. He cannot change that. It's nothing he can do about it. That is the law in Florida, and that's what this guy is talking about. He's saying that it was written for drug dealers and organized crime, you know, not for my friend who orchestrated a murder. No, not for her. It wasn't for her. Let her get off. You know, she shouldn't have to adhere to the law. Not my friend. You know, not my friend. This next person that's going to speak, this is a short clip, but he testified during the trial. He was the friend who helped to plan the trip to, where was they going? Thailand? I think they was going to Thailand. Wherever they was going, they was getting the heck out of Dodge and got caught right as they was boarding the plane. It was this friend who helped them to plan this trip. He came and testified that the only reason why they got a one-way ticket is because it was cheaper. And they didn't know exactly what day they wanted to come back. But they knew they had to be back for the boys' bat mitzvah. But yeah, it didn't land then. It's not landing now. But the point is, this guy is now getting ready to give some character testimony. So we're going to hear from.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will give today will be the truth?
I do.
You can lower your hand. You may direct the witness or you may give a statement.
You can state your full name, please.
My name is Richard Gordon Chagrin.
And have you prepared a statement here today?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you can give that to the court at this time.
This is on behalf of myself and my wife, Susan Brotman, an attorney at law. We have known Donna Adelson for over 35 years. She's been a dear friend and travel companion, and we are still in shock of her current circumstances. We know her to be a loving parent, wife, and grandparent. We stand behind her claim of innocence. We feel the trial was held in a county where there's been a lot of bad and inaccurate negative publicity, therefore not allowing a fair trial. We contend if a change of venue was granted, she would have been found not guilty. We are hopeful she will be relocated to South Florida, where she can pursue all legal remedies available. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, sir.
These are character statements or quibbling about the evidence and the rulings?
It's character, Judge. They're here to talk about their freedom.
So you hear the judge asking, are these character statements? Because they keep on talking about the fact that she didn't get a change of venue, and that, they feel like she would have fared better in another location. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're asking me, Lincoln. Ask me again. He was quick, but this was not any character evidence, and that's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be speaking regarding her character, taking issue with. That's not what they're supposed to be talking about. But here we are. We're gonna talk. We're gonna listen to her husband now. And he has much to say. You can imagine he's fairly angry. And then there's going to be this like really weird moment where he's like staring down the judge. It gets a little weird, but we're going to listen to him. I have a couple different clips of his speech.
You can lower your hand. You may speak.
Thank you, Judge, and respected officers of the court for allowing me to speak. I have been Donna Adelson's husband for over 50 years. My wife sacrificed everything so that she could pour her heart and soul into our children, our grandchildren, and our marriage. This summer was our 54th wedding anniversary, and I had to spend it without her, hand in mind. She has done nothing wrong, and yet is being punished for a crime that she did not commit. I thought we lived in a different kind of world, but I guess I was wrong. I have listened, watched, and sat in the courtroom for the entire trial, and I could not help but scream in my mind by the witnesses that were brought forward by the prosecution who told outright lies. I didn't know that you could lie in a courtroom, but apparently you can. Danny's parents contend that they have never seen their grandchild. But for years they say they've never seen her. But Wendy has shared with me pictures and videos and letters from their visits. They have suffered immensely at the loss of their son, but they also contend to tell lies to the court about our grandchildren. Donna has always been a loving and caring wife and is innocent of the charges. A biased judge and jury were influenced by years of...
Did y'all hear that? He said a biased judge. He is looking at that judge and calling that man biased in the courtroom. A biased judge and jury.
One-sided news pieces and
Before
social
you continue,
media.
Doctor, Ms. Fulford, this has nothing to do with the character of the defendant or at least the sentencing.
May I just a moment, please?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
So now she's going to take his statements and start editing it. It's like a really weird thing that's happening. And they're going to do this with Donna as well. To me, it seems very orchestrated. I could be off base here, but it seems to be planned. I'm going to just let you go ahead and say whatever you want to say. And if the judge stops you, then we'll make some tweaks. If he doesn't, say whatever you want to say. That's what it appears to me to be happening. Go ahead, let it all out, get it off your chest, whatever. it's just weird. And this is the stare down that I told you guys that was happening while all this editing is going on. Look at him just staring at the judge, just staring down the judge. You're not going to tell me that these people were not involved in this foolishness. Like, they absolutely knew what they were doing. They were all involved. And the whole time I was thinking, poor Harvey, he didn't know what was happening. But now how he's acting in this courtroom today, I am of the opinion that Harvey absolutely knew what was happening. He was in on it.
All right, thank you for letting me continue. Donna did not participate in the heinous acts that she was convicted of doing. You are sending an innocent woman to prison. You have taken my wife and you have taken my life as well. And for what? This is not justice. It is vengeance, and it is wrong.
You have an examination for Dr. Adelson.
No, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
They said, we don't have nothing to say to this man. We don't have nothing to say to this man. Get him up out of here. He's doing enough damage. He is doing enough damage. What do y'all think about him saying that the judge and the jury was biased? That she could not have gotten a fair trial there in Tallahassee? Exactly. I feel this right here because she is guilty. She is guilty. Enough said. All right. Well, we about to hear from Donna herself at this point, because let's see what she got to say.
Lectern or here?
She can remain at council table.
Thank you. I'm going to move the microphone. I need to speak loudly because this was not amplified.
Okay. Is this loud enough, Judge?
I can hear you.
All innocent.
Thank you for letting me speak. My son-in-law, Dan Markell, was a fine and decent man. He was well educated and passionate about his career. He was a good son-in-law, but more importantly, he was a caring and loving father. On July 18th, 2014, his car was followed, leaving his home. It should have been just like any other day, an ordinary day in the life of Ben and Lincoln's father, but it wasn't. He didn't know when he left his boys off at daycare that would be the last time he would see them, and the last time they would see him. He didn't know when he went to the gym afterwards that would be the last time he would exercise. And he didn't know when he drove home that his life would end within minutes. Danny wasn't just being followed, he was being hunted. He was brutally murdered in broad daylight, sitting in his car, in his garage, by vicious killers. I cannot imagine the terror he felt when he saw a gun pointed at him through the window of his car. I cannot conceive of his heroic efforts to stay alive during the hours after the attack. Danny died in the early morning hours of July 19th. His death is a loss to his children, his parents, his sister, all of us in his family, his friends, his colleagues in the legal community, and to his students at FSU Law School.
Danny didn't know that that was going to be the final time that he did any of those things. But you know who did? She did. She knew it because she set it up, because she planned it. And also, do y'all see any tears? Because I've been struggling to see any tears that she is crying. I have blown this up. I don't see any tears.
Danny's boys each have a photo of themselves with their Abba, their dad, beside their beds.
Here we go. We have more. It'll be continued with Donna and her shenanigans.
Photo and saying, "Good night, Abba, I love you." The pictures and memories are all they have because cruel, cold-hearted people took him from all of us who loved him. My heart was broken when Danny died.
I will remind you all that she absolutely hated this man. She, it was all in text messages and emails that she could not stand Dan Markel. She hated him. She called them names. She teased them. She went through a lot of planning to hurt him, to upset him where the children were concerned. So now she's saying she loved him. Please, please.
Grandsons were going to grow up without the father who loved them. I wondered, how could we help these boys through this trauma? It was then that my husband and I knew that the best way to honor Danny's memory would be to share with these children an abundance of love, the love that Danny would have given them if he were alive. Can't make up its mind about who is what they call the, quote, mastermind behind this murder. In both of Catherine Magbanowa's trials, the state claimed she was the mastermind behind Danny's murder. In my son Charlie Adelson's trial, they claimed he was the mastermind. And now in my trial, they claimed that I, this grandma, was the mastermind behind the murder. I had no idea that other people planned to cut Danny's life short. And the people who did this are exactly where they deserve to be. But I had no knowledge that this horrible, evil act was going to take place. If I had become aware of this plan before Danny was murdered, I would have stopped it. With not one iota of actual evidence, the state convinced a Tallahassee jury that I solicited and conspired with other people to have Danny killed. Where is the evidence prior to the murder? The evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that the state needed to prove their case. Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 in the morning?
Before you continue, Mrs. Adelson, as it relates to this statement, is the defense trying to re-argue the trial?
No, Judge, just giving Adelson an opportunity to be heard.
Mrs. Adelson, you certainly can continue. However, the court can take into consideration the utter lack of remorse that you are displaying. Please proceed if you desire to do so.
Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 a.m.
And she
that
continues.
revealed that I had any involvement in this vile and horrific act? Where is the solicitation and conspiracy evidence? The state needed to show that there was evidence before the murder to convict me. The state couldn't show that because there wasn't any evidence. They were trying an innocent person. It makes you wonder if the jurors were sleeping when the state had Sergeant Corbett on the stand for hours. Their own star witness testified that my phone was never, I repeat, never at my son's house on the night of the murder. The state's
That's not exactly what he said. He said they couldn't prove it, but based on her travel, where they traveled from, where they traveled to, what time they arrived there, the fact that she texted her son and said, "I'm outside," and then there was a minute where he was like, "Give me a minute." He said based on all of that, they could surmise that she went to the son's house. That's actually what was said.
theory that my husband and I dropped off money to my son was blown out of the water by their own witness. And yet, the state continued to push that story, that lie of the so-called money drop, to the jury through the remainder of the trial. And the jury bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. Reasonable doubt. Many months ago, my attorneys filed a motion for a change of venue. An expert witness testified that Tallahassee had been barraged with over 9 years of negative social media, printed news, television news, and podcast publicity about my family. He explained to the court, both with evidence and demonstratives, that for me to receive a fair trial, it needed to be held in any of the researched and designated areas in the state of Florida other than Tallahassee. All I wanted was a level playing field, but the court wanted the trial here in the hotbed of Tallahassee. I sat through 3 days of jury selection. 180 potential jurors were asked if they had developed an opinion in my case.
She is totally re-arguing this case. And that's why the judge said, is that what y'all trying to do right now? Is that really what y'all trying to do? No, Judge, we're not doing that at all.
Yes, also added, I believe she is guilty. Not one person, not one, said, I think she may be innocent. That should have been a clue to the court to grant our motion for a change of venue. But the court denied the motion. One of my jurors admitted during jury selection that she had background information concerning what one of the state's witnesses would be testifying about. Why was she allowed to be on my jury?
What moment?
Another juror.
Mrs. Fulford,
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Mr. Zellman, again, this has nothing to do with elocution of any sort. This is a raising of grievances, which are properly given to the appellate court. What does any of this have to do with sentencing?
Could I have just one moment, please?
He like, y'all gonna stop playing with me now. He said, enough is enough. Y'all gonna have to stop playing with me. Y'all know what y'all doing. Y'all are trying to air out all of your grievances here. This is not the time for any of that. This is not the time. He gave her a lot of leeway, though. They're gonna make a few edits, and then she'll continue down this path. Everybody knows she's guilty. They had years to follow all the evidence. But yet here we are dealing with this foolishness. Like, you guys knew
Please.
What happened to Danny is unforgivable. But I am an innocent woman convicted of this terrible crime without evidence. Danny was a brilliant legal scholar. He would have been appalled at the total lack of justice that went on during my trial. He would have been embarrassed to have his name associated with any of it.
He wouldn't have wanted his name associated with it because he would want to be alive. He would like to be alive. The nerve of this woman.
There are two crimes here. The first was Danny being viciously murdered. The second one is taking my life, the life of an innocent woman. Convicting me should not be retribution for Danny's death. That is not justice for Dan. I've always respected the law. I've never gotten a parking ticket, but I'm going to prison for a murder I did not commit. I do intend to file an appeal so that hopefully I have the opportunity to be given a fair trial outside of Tallahassee. 11 years ago, Danny was murdered and taken from all of us who loved him. For the past 9.5 years, the state has broadcast to the world, including Danny's parents and sister, that I hired hitmen to kill him. Never in a million years would I have wanted Danny to be harmed or killed, nor could I ever do something that would leave these two small boys to grow up without him. I love these boys more than life itself. This is a lifetime of loss for these children. They didn't deserve this. His family didn't deserve this. Danny didn't deserve this. And so, as I appear before you today, Your Honor, I promise you with my whole heart, I swear to you on my life, I was not involved in any way with Danny's murder. I was not.
Defense have any further argument to make?
Oh gosh. Listen. She ends it by saying what every guilty person in the whole wide world says, I swear to you on my life, I didn't do this. That means you did it. Listen, Lincoln, you're absolutely right. I have been saying it throughout the entire trial. She is there making all these faces and acting like she's crying and getting tissue, and you never see a tear, ever see a tear, right? Convicting the killer is absolutely justice for Danny, and they finally are getting justice for Danny. Let me tell you that she was given life for the M charge, and that was a mandatory sentence. There's nothing that the judge could have done about that. Hey, Dark and Lovely, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. And then she was given for the other two counts, the conspiracy, and I think it was conspiracy and second degree. She was given 30 years on each of those counts, and those two charges will run concurrently. That means together, but consecutive to the life. So basically her sentence is life plus 30 years. She ain't never getting out, ever and ever. They say that it is unfair. A lot of people have said it is unfair that she gets more time than one of the actual trigger men. The difference is that the trigger man was a cooperating witness. And he wasn't the trigger man. He was the driver. Okay. He was the driver, but he was a cooperating witness. He is the one that put the pieces together. It took them 9 years to bring all these people to justice. So obviously they needed his testimony to make this happen, because the rest of them was talking on chats and in code talking about TVs and shit. I'm sorry. Anyway, so that is the end of the Donna Adelson case. I hope she continues to say that she will be filing an appeal. It is up to an appeal court to say whether or not this case will be open or retried. And so, like I know that the court system moves very slowly. So who knows when we'll hear this trial again. In the meantime, though, Georgia Kappelman, the prosecutor for these cases, was seen this week going to a grand jury. And there has been a buzz here and everywhere, all over social media, that she is trying to get Wendy next. I don't know if she's trying to get Wendy. I don't know if she's trying to get Harvey. I don't know that it's for this case at all, because this is not the only case that she's trying. But if it is Wendy, I can't wait to see what evidence she has on Wendy, because that's the problem. Wendy was very good at insulating herself. And if you remember, Wendy was the wife of Dan Markell and the daughter of Donna Adelson. Hey, Pitt, good morning or good afternoon now. Thank you for joining us. Yes, he's late. He's so late. Get him. Let me put that up there. Explain. Explain yourself. Okay. And so now I wanna pivot, and I want to talk about the death of Ellen Greenberg. I told you guys to check out the special on Hulu. I believe it's entitled Death in Apartment 603. What happened to Ellen Greenberg? This was the case that happened many years ago, 2011. And she was found in her apartment, unalived. Hey, Janae, unalived, by 20 stab wounds. 20. And it was ruled a self-unaliving. That's what it was ruled. Her parents have been fighting for all of these years to get this reopened, to be re-examined, because they said it is no way that this was a self-unaliving. It's no way. And so they said, after all of these years of fighting and after the documentary hit Hulu, they said, you know what? Okay. The medical examiner will look at it again. And they did. And they were supposed to have a hearing on Monday. But instead of that, in the late hours of the night, the medical examiner put out a new report and said, although the placement of these wounds are odd, it could have been done by Ellen herself. And so therefore we are not changing our ruling. It is a self-unaliving. She had 20 wounds, and 10 of which were to her back and neck. 10 to her back and neck. And then the weapon was still lodged in her chest when she was found. And they said, we tested that weapon and it didn't have the boyfriend's DNA on it. So he's not a suspect. And I would like to contend that if it didn't have his DNA on it, then perhaps it was wiped clean, because it should have had his DNA on it because they lived together. So she is still not getting the justice that she deserves in this case. It's quite sad, even after all of this time. Her parents, in an interview, said that they were hopeful that they would see justice before their own passing, that they're getting up in age and, they really want to see something done. And yet they get this ruling. They were interviewed. They said that they are very disheartened by this ruling, but that the fight continues. They said they're not giving up. They know that this is not true. It's no way that their daughter did this. And at the time, if we're being transparent, and if you have watched that documentary, they said that she was going through a mental health crisis during this time. She had a lot of anxiety. She had just gotten a new job as a teacher, and it was very stressful. And she was spiraling, but not necessarily just because you're having some challenges doesn't mean that means you want to take your life. Was she a contortionist? Were the wounds on the back at a certain angle? Okay. So there are pictures of these wounds that I didn't think I should show because it is graphic. But one of the gashes is like to the top of her head. It's a huge gash. And then the rest is like back here to her neck and then her back. So I'm not really sure how she reached all of those areas. And like, how many times can you do that to yourself without being like, this kind of hurt, I want to stop now? Like, to me, those things don't really add up. I want to remind you guys to make sure that you like this video. It will go a long way for me. If you would like to share the video, also do that. Make sure that you guys are doing that. And I think everybody here is a subscriber, so thank you so much for being a subscriber over here. Yes, her neck and her back. Thank y'all for joining me on another Saturday live, to talk about all of these trial things and updates. I'm going to keep you posted on what we have coming up next, because there's so much going on, but none of the big cases that we've been looking forward to covering. We are still waiting to get information on the Courtney Clenny case. That was the OnlyFans model who unalived her boyfriend in their luxury Miami apartment. So I know that there is a hearing coming up on that case. So as soon as I know more, we still don't have a court date, but as soon as I know more, I will let you guys know. It's looking like it's the hearing is being pushed out till November and a possible court date of December, but that's not set in stone yet. But I will keep y'all posted because I'm definitely following that case as well. How long was the blade? I don't know the inches of the blade, but it was a regular kitchen knife, and it looked like, like a regular size kitchen knife that would be in the butcher block. So 6 inches, something, 5-6 inches, I don't know. Anyway, so that's the update on that. The family is still fighting, but I don't know what they can do at this point if the medical examiner is doubling down on this. My opinion is that it's been so long. To reopen this case at this juncture, they wouldn't have any evidence. They never secured the site because they immediately I said 5 or 6. You said 7 or 9. Okay, great. But anyway, they would have to they wouldn't get any further than they've already been. They shut down the scene immediately because on the scene they declared it a suicide even before the medical examiner came to examine the body. And they had a professional cleaning service come out and clean the scene. They didn't take any pictures of this. Like they don't have anything. So even if they reopened the case and said, yeah, it was a M, then what? Like how do you go back from 13 years ago, 14 years ago and find evidence that's already been destroyed? It's been 14 years. So I believe this will never move any further than where it is right now. That man is gone on, living his life. He has gotten married, has a family and kids. He done moved on with his life. So what are they gonna do? I'm sure that he is probably miserable. She's probably haunting him, and good for his ass. Listen, thank y'all so much for joining me. I gotta wrap this up because I gotta go meet Mocha. I'm supposed to be at brunch with her right now. I'm here with you guys. Have an amazing day today. And remember, the world has never met another you. Go out and be great in it. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I love you guys. I will see y'all on Monday over on that other platform and back here next Saturday. Make sure that you share out this live broadcast with all your friends and family. I love you guys. Bye-bye.